Welcome back to our series on organic farming. In last episode, we introduce World of Organic Farming, its history and evolution of organic farming. We have also learned about the principles of organic farming, seen the benefits of growing food naturally, and get inspired to make a difference in our own life, and also covers how it was differ from conventional farming. In this episode, we're going to discuss the first step towards starting an organic farm, that is buying land. Buying land for an organic farm can be a challenging process, but it's important to find the right property that meets your needs. When looking for land, you need to consider several factors such as soil quality, location, electricity, water supply, market, and zoning regulations. The most crucial aspect to take into account while purchasing land for organic farming is the soil's quality, which plays a major role in this type of farming. Let's explore more on this. First, why soil testing is important. Soil testing is an essential step in organic farming because it helps you understand the health of your soil. Healthy soil is vital to growing healthy crops, and soil testing helps you determine what nutrients your soil needs and what harmful chemicals it may contain. Next is how to test your soil. Testing your soil is easy and can be done with a soil testing kit. You can purchase these kits online or at your local gardening center. The kit typically includes instructions on how to collect soil samples from your farm, and how to test those samples for nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Next, how to interpreting soil test results. Once you have completed the soil test, you will receive a report that shows the nutrient levels in your soil. These results will help you determine what nutrients your soil needs and in what amounts. The soil test report may also indicate the pH level of your soil, which is important to know because it affects how well your crops can absorb nutrients. Once you have received your soil test results, you can use them to create a fertilization plan for your crops. If your soil is deficient in certain nutrients, you can add organic fertilizers or compost to improve the nutrient levels. By using the results of your soil test, you can ensure that your crops are receiving the nutrients they need to grow healthy and strong. Next is when to test your soil. It's important to test your soil regularly even after you buy land to ensure that your crops are getting the nutrients they need. Soil testing should be done at least once a year, and more frequently if you notice any problems with your crops. Another important factor to consider while buying a land for organic farming is the location. Location is critical when buying land for organic farming. Several factors affect the location of an organic farm. Choosing the right location is essential for the success of the farm. Another important thing while choosing correct location is climate and weather conditions of that particular area. The climate of the location affects the type of crops that can grow, and weather conditions like frost and rainfall also affect crop yield. You want to find a property that is accessible and has a good water supply. Also, you want to make sure that the land is not contaminated by any nearby factories or other pollutants. While choosing location for buying new land, we have to consider access to a local market, which is essential for the success of organic farming. Also, we need to consider proximity to consumers and the local economy. We have to evaluate transportation infrastructure after post-harvesting. Next important factor while buying land for organic farming is electricity. Electricity is essential for modern farming practices. Without electricity, it's difficult to operate machinery, irrigation systems, and other essential equipment. Access to electricity is essential for modern farming practices. Several factors affect access to electricity on rural land. Understanding these factors can help you plan for your farm's electricity needs. Let's take a look at some of the factors that affect access to electricity on rural land. One is proximity to power lines. If your land is close to existing power lines, connecting to the grid will likely be less expensive than if your land is far away from power lines. Next is off-grid solar power. Off-grid solar power is a sustainable option for remote locations without access to power lines. Solar panels can provide electricity for lighting, pumps, and other farming equipment. Although solar panels can be expensive to install, they can provide long-term savings by reducing your reliance on grid electricity. Next is wind turbines. Wind turbines can be a good option if your land is located in a windy area. Although they can be expensive to install and maintain, they can provide a sustainable source of electricity. Another one is backup generators. Although backup generators run on fossil fuels and are not sustainable, they can provide a reliable source of backup power during power outages or emergencies. When choosing land for farming, it's important to consider proximity to power lines, off-grid solar power, wind turbines, and backup generators when planning for electricity needs. Be sure to research and plan before purchasing land for farming. Next important topic is importance of a reliable water source when choosing or buying land for farming. Water is essential for farming, and having a reliable source of water is crucial to the success of your farm. Let's take a look at some of the factors that affect access to water on rural land. First is surface water, in which, water that can be seen above ground, such as rivers, lakes, and ponds. If your land is close to a surface water source, such as a river or lake, you may be able to use it as a reliable source of water for farming. Next is groundwater. It is water that is stored underground in aquifers. Groundwater can be a reliable source of water for farming if it is available and accessible on your land. Next factor, which is rainfall, is also an important source of water for farming. When choosing land for farming, it's important to consider the average annual rainfall in your area and plan for storage and irrigation systems to manage water during dry seasons. Next factor, that is water rights, are legal rights to use water from a specific source. It's important to understand the water rights in your area and consider the legal and regulatory requirements for using water on your land. When choosing land for farming, it's important to consider surface water, groundwater, rainfall patterns, and water rights when planning for water needs. Be sure to research and plan before purchasing land for farming. The market is an important factor to consider when buying land for organic farming. Access to a reliable market source is essential for the success of your organic farm. Let's take a look at some of the factors to consider when it comes to a reliable market source for organic farming. Understanding the local market is key to successful farming. Research local markets for organic products to determine the demand for specific crops or products. Evaluate competition and identify gaps in the market to find a profitable niche for your farm. Identifying potential buyers is also important for establishing relationships and ensuring sales. For that, we have to do research local restaurants, grocery stores, and other potential buyers to identify who may be interested in purchasing your organic products. Establish relationships with potential buyers before planting crops to ensure sales. Consider different types of markets, such as farmers markets and online marketplaces, to diversify your market sources. Explore options for direct-to-consumer sales to establish a loyal customer base. Participate in community events and engage with local organizations to build relationships and increase visibility for your farm. When choosing land for organic farming, it's important to consider a reliable market source. Understand the local market and demand for organic products, identify potential buyers and establish relationships with them, and diversify your market sources to reduce risks and ensure sales. Finally, you need to consider the zoning regulations in the area where you want to buy land. Zoning regulations are laws that dictate how land can be used in a particular area. Let's take a closer look at zoning regulations and what you need to know when buying land for organic farming. Zoning regulations can vary depending on the location. The most common types of zoning regulations are residential, commercial, and agricultural zoning. Understanding agricultural zoning regulations is crucial when buying land for farming. Agricultural zoning regulations vary by state and municipality, and some may prohibit certain farming practices. Consider hiring an attorney to help navigate zoning regulations. Some zoning regulations may prohibit certain farming practices. Prohibited uses may include commercial or industrial activities, and certain livestock or crop practices may also be prohibited. Always check with local zoning authorities before purchasing land for farming. In some cases, it may be possible to obtain a variance or exemption from zoning regulations. Variances and exemptions may be granted for certain uses or practices, but the process for obtaining them can vary by location. Consider hiring an attorney to help navigate the process. Zoning regulations can vary by location and may prohibit certain farming practices. It's important to understand these regulations before buying land for organic farming. Consider hiring an attorney to help navigate zoning regulations. Buying land for an organic farm can be a significant investment, but it's worth it. By starting with the right property, you can create a sustainable and profitable farm that benefits both you and the environment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.